All right. Hello, I'm Jessie Raspiller, and we are back for another edition of our Off the Mat series. And this month we have Emily for May. How are you,
Hey,
Emily?
good. How are you?
Welcome, welcome to the hot seat.
Like I'm on a talk show.
I know. Well, I think we're going to be starting a game show after your episode. I told you a little bit of what's coming. So we'll do some rapid fire questions with
Sounds
Emily, and maybe we'll just have to start a pop up game show after this.
good.
So, so I like to know, just because the work that I do, and it just seems like a theme of what I'm asking everybody is, tell me about where you come from. Like, where were you born, and what was your childhood like? Because I feel like that always has little nuggets of who each individual is.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm from Ventura. I was born and raised here. Um, yeah, what was my childhood like? I don't know. It was mixed, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Not to say anything like negative about anyone in particular, but everyone has like their ups and downs. Definitely some like darker, weirder times, but on the whole, like pretty idyllic and nice and good. And obviously, I'm back here, so I'm happy to be connected to my family and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a mixed
Yeah.
bag, just like anybody. But
Well,
uh,
what did you like to do as a kid? How about that? What were your interests, your hobbies, your imaginations?
I feel like nowadays I'm like a totally different person than how I was before. Like when I was growing up, I was very like academic minded, very like I don't know, just like constantly facing a book, like very into school. And now I feel like I've done a total 180. I mean, not that I don't enjoy like reading or academia or any of that stuff, but like I've like transitioned into more of like a physical type person. I love obviously yoga, skating, like any different activity I can do, hiking. Like I like to get a little less in my head and a little more into my body. So yeah, I don't know. I think like previously I just like never really explored the mind body connection that much. I just kind of felt
Mm.
like this is like my meat body, you know what I mean? Like I'm the brain that's inside, but like didn't have any particular like attachment or relationship to my body. And now I kind of do. So
Yeah, in all the ways, right? That mind, body, and spirit, which we'll talk a little bit more about shortly. But I love your story, and I don't know it in detail, but I just know when I met you that you were at a huge turning point in your life. So do you want to share a little bit about that? Because I
yeah.
think it's very inspiring with the path that you're on and the hard right turn or left turn that you made in life.
Yeah, dude. Well, going back to like what we were just talking about, actually, I was very like academic minded growing up. I think my parents like really influenced me to like dive deep into like schooling, which is a great influence for you to have on your kid. But I think I kind of took that to the extreme, very like always the kid, like in all the AP classes, like pushing it to the
Mm.
limit. Not really like considering whether that aligned best with me, because you know, whatever, you're a kid, like who really has that much self-awareness? You just do whatever you think you're supposed to do. So like I basically took that track for my whole life, ended up going to UCLA. That was awesome. After my like 4 years there was coming to a close, I had like an English degree, but I was like, what do you really do with that? And everyone was saying like, oh, you like writing, you should go to law school. I'm not knowing anything about what that's about. I'm just like, it'd be nice to help people, you know, but how can you know what goes into it unless you have like experience in that field? And so I ended up going to law school for a year and literally just hated it so much. It was so terrible. I didn't connect with anybody. That's not true. I had like a handful of friends there, but I don't know. I just felt like wrong. Like from the instant I was there, I just felt like everything was wrong. I remember in orientation, like there was a guy telling us about like how to find your balance of like life and school. And he was talking about like, yeah, I came into like this school with a partner. Most people break up with their partner because they just can't make it work. We made our relationship work because we would just have one night a week where we would do something together. And then the rest was me doing school. And I'm sitting there like, that sounds so terrible. I was like 21. Like, I really don't want to devote my life to a job now in particular, or maybe ever. Just like felt like it was 100% wrong. Did like not that great, not terrible, not that great either. Ended up getting kicked out. It wasn't anything like fun or exciting. It was, I just got academically disqualified, which was whatever, a little bit whack, but like
How
whatever.
did that feel after you're like an AP student and probably getting good grades? Like, how did was that a little bit of an ego ding at all, or?
Like a little bit, definitely, but I just remember like when I had gotten my like final grade back and like did the calculation, figured out that like I was gonna get kicked out. Like obviously I like, cried to my mom, whatever. She
Mhm.
came to like help me move my stuff out of my place and we just slept in my twin bed and I just like cried and it was all sad. But it was literally one night of that. And then the rest of my like experience was just like, oh my God, like I don't need to go back there. And like I kind of explored going back through like taking this one test and whatever. I tried to get back in there, but it wasn't out of like a sense of like, this is my purpose and what I'm like drawn to do. It was like, okay, I guess I'll just get back on the track that I've been on because I don't know anything different. And that didn't end up working out either. So after like everything was said and done, I just felt really relieved, but then
Mm.
also lost about like, what am I really going to do? And then I found you guys, and then the rest is history. So there you go. Started taking
Yeah.
classes with pop up and yeah, ended up really loving it and everything just kind of fell into place.
Yeah. So how did that happen? I mean, I know you and your friend Kate had come to some yoga classes in the beginning, and it was just a good fit for you at the time. But I'm always curious because I started this journey so long ago, and it was such a different world back then. But what was that decision like to like I'm going to go to a yoga class today? Like, was it just that?
Yeah, pretty much. I had like taken classes before. I would go to Mavericks. That was my like gym when I was in high school. I went to Foothill, so I was just like down the street. And like I remember loving it. There was this dude that taught there. I forget his last name. First name Adam. Do you know that guy?
Oh yeah, I think he's up in Ojai maybe now, or he used to be in
That
Ojai.
sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think his wife also teaches yoga too, but he was amazing. His energy was just like very like calm, but like so powerful. And I would just leave that class and trip out. Like I would be in like the best mood. It was really weird. It was like my first time ever having that experience with like having like
Mm.
a workout and like kind of going more internal with it. And I don't know. So I was like somewhat familiar with it. I'd like done some classes before, but had never like really dove in that deep. So it didn't seem like a big leap to like go to my first class with pop up, but it was
Mhm.
a totally different environment than the gym environment, which is, not to talk down on them at all because it's great. And that's like, the thing that kind of like ignited my passion for yoga. But it's just such a different experience when you go and it's the same community every time. And like everyone kind of has the same value system and all that good stuff. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. But that's how I
Awesome.
ended up here.
So then what did that next leap look like from going from being a yoga student to being a teacher? How did that evolution come together?
Yeah, that was like another fortuitous thing too, because like I was going to pop up to start and I had like no money. I was unemployed and also like super in debt and still am, but like it would be a lot for me to put down like $5. Like it was really terrible with that. But like whatever. Anyway, so I was like going to pop up, taking it like somewhat seriously, but never in my like wildest dreams would I think like I would teach this. And then my roommate slash best friend, Katie, her sister opened a studio, Grassroots, in town. And we knew we were going to end up working there because she needed karma yogis. And we were like, all right, this will be a great opportunity to like utilize this membership and like just dive in a little bit deeper. And then through like that experience, going like more consistently and like just like increasing the intensity in my practice, I was like, I gotta do this. And then just
Mhm.
like this amazing opportunity arose with another teacher at Grassroots, April Geary. She did a teacher training, and I was just like, all right, I guess we're gonna do this. Never really knew how it would lead, but yeah, I just really wanted to share it because it's one thing to like try to convince your friend to go to class with you, but like it's nice to be able to actually like convey the information to them. And like
Mm.
there are a lot of people that like feel uncomfortable going to like a group fitness class, especially if they've never had that type of experience before. So it's nice to be able to offer that in like a more private capacity instead of like forcing your friend to like go to a class where there's going to be a ton of people like getting all sweaty and whatever, just being like, let's go in the backyard for like 20 minutes and just do a little thing. So that
Yeah.
was kind of like my intention behind doing it. But
Yeah. Also, I think that's how so many of us get started is just wanting to inspire others. And so I know you have a lot of inspiring things coming up, and I've been so fortunate to get to watch you from the very first time that you really taught a yoga class at your audition, which
yeah,
was so natural 2 years ago. It just was like as soon as you came in and you sat down, it was like she's doing this. And it was really beautiful. And to watch you evolve as a teacher over the last couple of years. And now you and I have gotten to do some a lot of beautiful playtime. And I'd love to have you share. I mean, I know what the mantra and sort of the chanting is for me, but I think it's such a unique individual experience for each person that finds it and kind of how they find it and how they can connect with it. So, do you want to share a little bit about what you've stepped into with your mantra and sort of chanting practice?
Totally. Well, I guess like just kind of like the reason why I got into it or how I got into it is because my other teacher at Grassroots, Anna McCabe, who is seriously the best person ever, love her. She
She's
was
pretty
doing
magical.
freaking best, dude. But we were doing full moon chanting circles. So she would do like every full moon on like a Sunday night. She would like sit us all in a circle and like have her harmonium, and we would like sing these beautiful songs, and she would tell us the stories behind them. And, like it just feels good, and it really is as simple as that. I mean, like to start, I didn't really have too much of a connection to any of these like gods and goddesses, and I don't even think you necessarily need to like reap the benefits of it. It just feels good and it's so fun. And then like I always wanted to do something like this. It was on my vision board in 2019 to get a harmonium. And then I just talked myself out of it. You know how it is. We all have that
Mhm.
like imposter syndrome thing where it's like, oh, I couldn't do it because I don't have enough training. I don't have enough experience. I'm not a musician. I don't have a beautiful voice, whatever. And then 2020 was kind of a wash. But then 2021, I was like, you know what? It's just the time to do it. Everyone was venturing out and doing all these different beautiful things with their own workshops and feeling empowered to share things that are important to them. So I was like, let's just do it. We're just going to dive in. So, you and me have been doing a lot of fun stuff, hanging out on our Saturday mornings, playing our harmonium. And yeah, it just feels really good. It's so fun. It feels natural. Like, I just love it. I forgot what the
Yeah.
original question was. I
That's
was
okay. No, that was beautiful. And that's what, yeah, it's been so fun. So Emily and I both, she just got her harmonium last week, right? Like out
I
of
bought it on
town.
Friday night and then Saturday morning took it to class. So definitely
Yay.
0 to 100 journey.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's just kind of how it is too. For me with the harmonium, it was like I was calling one in for 3 years and then it just like magically like showed up from San Diego on my doorstep one day. And now getting to share it with you because part of my vision has always been as we sort of gather together, we call it kirtan with the call and response with the mantras. But when you have an individual chanting practice, it's so beautiful because for me, then just to share a little bit about my part, because I'll be joining Emily with her workshop this month, and I'm so grateful to get to share. This is a growing piece of myself too, and something that Emily and I are really sharing together in bringing this to the community. It's been my dream for so many years to share this, and it always felt like Emily saying like this uphill battle because we all go through that imposter syndrome, whatever stage we're at, whether it's the beginning of yoga teaching or, all the different things in life. It doesn't even have to be yoga, but it's for me, it was the first time that I found mantra. It was like, wow, I don't even fully know what these words are. I don't know if I'm saying them right, but there was this acceptance in the fact that I was sharing my voice, that it was okay. And it's kind of like yoga. We come and we don't know the postures. And as long as we remember to breathe, we're doing it right. Right. And it's kind of the same to me with chanting. It's like, if we don't know the words, but we really feel the connection to what we're saying and the intention behind it, I feel like is a huge part. Right. And which is why I love that we've been sharing the mantra in our classes now, but now we really get to share and take that apart like we get to do in workshops. And you'll be sharing more about what these mantras actually mean so you can truly set some intentions behind it, which is powerful, I think, right? Because everything has to do with an intention. So
Exactly. Yeah. And going off what you said, like, I think the like meaning of it is going to like evolve for people over time. Like what you get out of it evolves over
mhm,
time. Because similar to kind of what you were saying about when you start your yoga practice, it's not like you really have a full and complete understanding of like what all of this stuff is. I mean, you basically like when you start out, you just have like a drop of knowledge in this like enormous, like vast ocean of like all this beautiful stuff you can learn. But like you just start out with like, well, it feels good and I'm like sort of interested in it. And that's like really all you need to start with,
mhm,
over time. Like you might find that it becomes more about like finding your own voice, like becoming more empowered to express yourself, like, on and off the mat, or like maybe you start to like find a connection with like, our gods and goddesses, like invoking them in your own life, or maybe it's just like a fun thing. Like it really doesn't have to be more complicated than that. So yeah, wherever
Yeah,
you start is fine, is what I want people to know. And like wherever you end up is great too. It's just fun to
definitely.
experiment. That's what all this is about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And getting to bring community together too, I think is the other piece that you and I are excited about, is like actually getting to join people safely together at this point in the this stage of things. So
Yeah.
and so we have that. Her workshop's going to be on May 15th. We'll be down at Cemetery Park under the beautiful tree that I teach yoga at. And what can people kind of expect? Like, what should, not to set any expectations, because I never think that's a good idea, because everybody's going to come and have their own unique experience. But what do they need to do to prepare? Should they be wearing yoga clothes? Should they bring a yoga,
Good
like just
question.
put the minds at ease so they can
Yeah.
show up and be themselves?
Exactly. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like probably going to be like a pretty big leap for most people to do something like this. So I definitely want everyone to feel comfortable and like they know what to expect a little bit going in. You don't need to wear yoga clothes necessarily. You could wear whatever you want. We're just going to be sitting in a circle. This is not an asana practice. We're going to be sitting in a circle, just have a little altar in the center, create like a sacred space, just like wear something you would feel comfortable sitting around in for like an hour. Maybe not jeans. Jeans suck.
Hey, I'm a jean and t-shirt kind of girl, but probably not to sitting around on my butt
I
all
can't
for
wear
now.
jeans. It's a prison. But yeah, just wear whatever makes you feel comfortable. We'll create a sacred space. We'll have like an opportunity for people to, whatever, share whatever they want to share, like ask any questions. And yeah, you don't need to bring anything. I guess if you wanted to bring a blanket to sit on or something, you don't even need a mat necessarily. Maybe like a bolster, like some type of poof would be good for just your comfort. But yeah, you can really just come as you are. You don't need to like know anything or like bring anything. Just come as you are.
Beginner's mind, right? I
Exactly.
think that's one of the most important things that I try to share with students, is that even though I've been doing this for X amount of years, it's like every day is a beginner's mind, right? It's like I might know some of the postures now, but I'm always re-evaluating them. And it's like I might know some of the chants, but it's like even as you and I shared, it's like how many different ways there is to play with it.
Hmm.
And to physically play the notes and to the tunes and the melodies that we're playing with. It's like it's always showing up with a beginner's mind. So
Exactly.
yeah. So all right. I wish I had theme music. Do, 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 do. Yeah, that sounded do, 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 do. That's better. That doesn't sound. This is the point of the show where we're gonna do rapid fire. We'll work on this for the coming months. That was pretty lame. All right. So I'm gonna ask you if or just or questions, and you have to, without thinking about them, just give your response. There's about
Okay.
7 of them. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you tuned into yourself?
I'm ready, I think. We'll find
Okay.
out.
Okay. Mornings or evenings?
Oh, mornings.
Okay. Sand or trees?
Trees.
Hiking or napping?
Hiking.
Yoga mats or roller skates?
Oh,
Go,
roller
go.
skates.
Ah!
Betrayal.
I know. I had a feeling you were going to say that. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Ventura, Ojai.
Oh, Ventura.
Ah! Ding, 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 ding.
Oh man, some
Oh,
challenge questions.
yeah, I know. No pressure. You surprised me on a couple of those. So yeah. So okay, we got to know about the roller skates before we go into your nonprofit. Tell
Yes.
us about the roller skating journey.
It's the funnest thing ever. It's the best. Well, everyone got into it during the pandemic for some reason. I don't know why. And I just love like retro vibes. I love like the 60s and 70s. Like I love like just the music and the culture of that era. And I was seeing all these like cool videos of just like retro looking girls doing all this like cool stuff, dancing and twirling and like going to skate parks, like going up ramps. I'm like, damn, I want to do that so bad. So I ended up buying skates from this chick on Facebook Marketplace, and it's been so fun. I mean, it kind of like takes me back almost to when I started doing yoga, because like you're coming in and you have absolutely no like idea what's going to go down. But like it's kind of freeing because like with having no expectations, like the possibilities are limitless. And then same with this, I'm like, I have no clue what I could even like achieve with doing this. And it's just the pure intention of like having
Mm,
fun. So like it's been cool
I
to,
love that.
and also the community aspect, we just like created this group chat on Instagram. So if anybody that's listening to this wants to join it, we formed a quad squad. So it's just like a
A
bunch of
quad squad.
so it's just like a bunch of chicks in the area. It's like some yoga teachers, some like new friends, met a lot of cool people through it. But we'll just like
Mm.
anytime someone's gonna go skating, like, okay, we're going to Skating Plus on this day. Whoever wants to go, just go. Or like, oh, we're gonna go to the boardwalk on this day. So if
Oh
anyone
my
wants to
gosh.
quad squad,
I'm not good on wheels. I'm gonna man up this surf group that I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing about it. And you can run that and I'll meet you on the
okay.
water sometime. But me and wheels don't get along. But I love that you're doing it. And it brings me so much joy when I see you on
Thank you. Well,
Instagram.
that's
So
me in water. I'm like, I would drown. Like with swimming, there's a fine line between having fun and not dying. So I'll pass on the
okay. And
for
that's exactly how I feel about four wheels. I have a longboard, a skateboard longboard that
yeah.
I got because I thought it was going to be cool when I lived in Phoenix. And then I fell off it once and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Me too.
I'm too old to do this at this point in my life.
But
And
when you
yeah.
get old, you don't, I mean, we're not old, but when you get older, you don't bounce like you used to. Like you fall and it's just like, oh,
And
I'm
you don't recover like you used to. I'm a little bit older than you, so I don't bounce back like I used to. So
I feel
but I
that.
love what you're doing. It's so fun. So
Thank you.
all right. So before we wind down, as we know, every month each of you choose a nonprofit that's near and dear to your heart. So tell us a little bit about what you chose and why.
Yeah. Okay. So my charity that I picked is called Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. My intention behind picking them was because, I mean, without getting like too political, just because I don't want to alienate anyone who has like a different view than me. Um, the last like 4 years brought out a really, really ugly side of this country. People felt empowered to say all kinds of crazy stuff and didn't suffer any consequences for it in a lot of instances. There was like a lot of violence, and like we started learning more about like how immigrant families are being detained when they do get,
Mm,
whatever caught. Like a lot of like terrible things are happening. And also like I'm a Mexican person, you know what I mean? Like when I see that happening, it feels like I'm watching like my family almost. So
mm,
it basically I selected this charity just because like they're on the ground doing a lot of like really important stuff for this community. They provide like legal services, like they'll do DACA renewals for people for free or
oh,
like reduced
fantastic.
costs. Yeah, they have like attorneys available, but also they do like lobbying at like the state and federal level for like just more humane treatment of like immigrant folks. And like I also just think too, as yoga people, like if we're learning about all this stuff on the mat and then we go live our
Mm,
life and just pretend like this stuff isn't happening, that's not really what this is about. And we can't allow like these concepts to exist in a vacuum. Like we gotta, if we see something wrong that's going down, we can't ignore it. Like our biggest thing
mm.
is like if someone's suffering, you can never ever look away. So this is like a small way for us to help, it
That's
doesn't require much. We can just like throw a little bit of money at it and it is really going to help somebody. So
That's beautiful. And I love that not only are they sort of the boots on the ground raising awareness for so many of the things that came to light in the past few years, right? But they're also a resource, which I don't think I realized just by sharing some of the stuff so far. So you can find more about them on Emily's Teacher Future page. We have her donation button built in. That's a PayPal, but we're also offering you guys to Venmo as well now too, because we realize like if it's just easier to do that and to be able to share, you can Venmo Yoga in the Wild. So we'll be sharing this throughout the month on Instagram, and we'll also tag their handle too. So if you know anybody that needs some resources, this is a really beautiful nonprofit that Emily's going to bring and shed some more light on. So, but if the least you want to do is show up on May 26th for Emily's 6 p.m. Sunset Flow class, all of the offerings from that class will be going towards her organization. So many good things coming up this month with Emily and within the pop-up community. We hope you guys can join us and to share her expansion. I'm just so excited with what she's opening up for, but also what that means for each of you guys too. I think that's one of the most beautiful things as a yoga teacher is that when we are inspired ourselves, eventually we know that we have to end up sharing and teaching this. It's sort of the sacred agreement that we make when we step into these roles, is that when we find something that has really supported ourselves, either in a healing journey or in a spark, we end up getting to share that down the road. So um, anything else that you want to share with the community?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I just want to say, like, I know for a lot of people, they hear like singing in a group and they're like, oh, that sounds like so terrible. But like, I just want to encourage everyone to experiment, knowing that like this is a supportive environment. And I mean, everyone pretty much knows each other at this point. Like, if you come to class regularly, you're going to recognize like, pretty much every single person there. Like, I want you to feel like it's just like a bunch of friends getting together and like, this is your time to, whatever. And you don't have to have like a beautiful voice or anything. I'm so not a musician. I don't even play anything. I'm just specifically learning how to do harmonium for this event. And like, I'm not a singer, but I'm just putting it out there and, whatever. I just want you to feel safe to like, take a risk because that's kind of what all
Mm.
this is about. We're trying to push our soft edge, if you will, just like on the mat. We're expanding our comfort zone. So, and if you have any like questions or reservations, I don't want anyone to hesitate to reach out to me. So you could either hit me up through the Wix app, or if you have me on Instagram, you could hit me on there and we'll talk about it.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we're really opening up in the pop-up community is the vulnerabilities on all points, right? It's like tapping into the uncomfortable conversations that we need to have in this community, in this nation, in this planet, right? Or it's like tapping into something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable for us, but those are the moments when change happens and beauty can really start to take shape within, but then we get to ripple that out too. So I love that yours is sort of, full circle with all the aspects of what you're offering this month.
Thank you. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for your support. It's going to be so much fun. And yeah, also too, I just want to highlight my amazing support of Jesse and Cam that are going to be doing this workshop with me. So if you love them, it's another opportunity to see them too.
Yeah. So it'll be just a beautiful come together. So yeah, thank you for pushing us out of I mean, this is out of my comfort zone too. And I'm like,
Likewise, you're pushing me too. So thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. So that's part of this yoga journey. And I think as teachers that have pushed ourselves out of our comfort zone, what we could share with you all, if you're really trying to find sort of that next step, or what really the underlying pieces of yoga are too. So well, thank you to Emily for taking some time out of her day and for sharing herself this month and all the pieces that make her her, not just being a yoga teacher. So we can't wait to get to know more of you. I'm sure have you do a takeover at some point too and just show us your life. But yeah, anyways, check out all the dates on there. You can check out the PayPal, Venmo stuff for our nonprofit for this month. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the mat.
Thank you.